What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Ishman. Welcome to NiDom or NiDom. Hope you guys are doing well. So in this particular video, I was kind of sitting here thinking. I mean, these are really quick thoughts. These are not like planned out videos of being honest. I'm just letting you know right now. I'm gonna be ranting. There's no structure to this or whatever. So what comes out comes out. So yeah, but I mean, what I'm talking about this time is I'm gonna say it's the dark side of the Infj, but I mean, there's so many things to cover that are dark sides. I mean, I'm a little skeptical to name it that, so it's probably gonna be named something else. But one of the things that I've noticed right now as an INFJ that I'm going through is, not even just now, man, like just life, or woman, chick, I'm going to edit that out. I don't know, maybe I won't. One of the things that I'm noticing, male or female, whoever, fellow INFJs or people of the world, I don't know. I just feel like one of the things that I wrote down, I said, INFJs, we give grace and understanding to so many people outside of our close circle. But then those in our inner circle get the brunt of our fury and demon altruism. And I feel like in some manner, like that's one of the things that makes me, I don't know. I've realized that, in my relationships, I feel like I'm really easy. No, I'm not even going to say it. I feel like I can be very hard on people who I'm in relationships with. And unfortunately, if any of those people are watching, I'm really sorry, And at the same time, I don't really know because it doesn't seem like that to me. And I'm going to probably talk about that later on as well. But it doesn't really feel like I'm doing anything. But I think as an INFJ, I have a tendency to kind of see all the concept. People talk about things, or we see things as INFJs that are kind of like the spirit of a person, or the way that the meaning behind why they do some of the things that they do. And I think I've kind of talked about this in one of my other videos as well, but it's almost like INFJs will start to mirror. That's another topic. But maybe even trying to show the other person themselves, and that does not work out very well. And I think that the lessons keep compounding and compounding, and before you know it, it's just a really bad environment to be in, unfortunately, because as we're kind of, trying to basically show the other person themselves, we are almost taking on the concept of that other person, and it just becomes a cycle because that person reacts to themselves because we're projecting what that person is doing. At least on my side, I can't speak for everybody. And then as that person starts getting worse, I feel like I start getting more frustrated, and then it becomes this like cyclical ordeal where, pretty much, it's pretty bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I really don't feel like that's, I don't know. It's just that's a pretty dark side to me, I feel like, of what happens in a INFJ relationship, especially when we give so much, like I said in the statement, when we give so much to other people, there's like so much grace and understanding. And I think that that's also part of the thing that happens is like, we're like, we have to go out into the world and deal with all the stuff that's not the perfect world, where people do bad things to people because of wrong motives, and we can't help all the people outside of the world. We have to go to work, we have to go to church, we have to go to all of our corporate or organization, things or whatever. We have to go to, we have to watch the news. We have so many things that we see that's wrong in the world that we have no control over because it's not our thing. It's not the thing that we lead. It's not the thing that we have control over. It's just out of our control. And then you go to the house and then here's a person that you do have control, not over, but like control to say, this is what I want to create. This is the path that I want to take in order to create things in the world that I want. And then when in a relationship, the person that you are partnering with doesn't hear that, and so now I have to go outside of my home and deal with the idea that I can't change the world outside of my home. And then I have to deal with the idea of, like, in my home now, I have no control because me and my person, the person that I'm with are, can't, we can't get on the same page. And so then that makes you, angry. It makes it frustrating because now, again, I haven't talked about this, and I'll probably do another video on this, but, anger, especially in Enneagram 9, I'm a 9, a peacemaker. And so in my desire to create peace, which is, man, this is another video, so in my desire to create peace, I also wind up being more frustrated because then I'm getting upset because I'm saying I want to create peace. Here's what I'm trying to get to, which is what frustration is. The emotion of frustration is the idea of having an objective that you're trying to accomplish and then feeling like there's an obstruction stopping you from getting to that objective. So that's what frustration is, and then frustration, becomes anger. And so we, in our relationships, I'm going to stop saying we. I'm not sure. You guys may be dealing with this or not, but I just feel like in my relationship, I wind up getting angry because the peace that I desire is very paradoxical. I don't know, whatever. It's a paradox because I'm striving for peace, but I'm actually creating a war inside my relationship, trying to create peace because I'm trying to say, this is what I want, and I want there to be peace, but your intentions are not don't allow there to be peace in the long term. So I have to create war in order to what's and that's pretty, it's pretty messed up. I don't know. There's a lot in there to unpack, but all that being there's a lot in there to unpack. But all that being said, it's pretty rough. Like I've said, I'm not really sure if that's because I'm a 9 or if that's, I'm an INFJ and I'm a 9. It's probably a little bit of both. So, you guys chime in and you let me know. And again, take the time to like and subscribe on a video. If you like the conversations and you guys are feel like this is, good conversation or whatever this may be, just help me out, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and there'll be more content. So I wrote, I believe this comes from the idea that in a partner, the principles and motives by which we make decisions together is a foundational thing for the relationship. Yeah, and I think I've already kind of touched on that already. It's just, the idea that we got to be on the same page if we're going to move together. And so if I am like, man, like I want to have control over the experience that I'm going to create, it's more of like a future SE, extroverted sensing. Like, here's what I'm going to experience one day, and I need to be around the people, find the people who feel like they relate or want to create what I want to create. And so in a relationship, when that is not going on with an INFJ or a 9, that's pretty rough because, it's for me as well as for the other person that I'm in a relationship with. So I wrote, in my mind I feel as though I'm being constructive, but it seems as though it doesn't come off that way. Like, I recorded myself the other day talking, what I was saying in my head was roses, but what came out when I listened were darts. So this is intriguing. I was having a conversation that was pretty frustrated, been going through some trying times or whatever, but just, being open without, whatever. So the conversation in my brain was loving. I felt like, and I don't know if you guys have this problem too, but in my mind, I was saying things that are kind of constructive, like kind of pointing out that these are truth. The things that I know they're truth, but when I was talking in my mind, I was being really nice in my brain. And I was really kind of, to me, saying it to point out the facts of the information of what I felt like were the problems or what's going on, and not in a way of saying this is you're not even, I didn't feel like it was like you're wrong and I'm right, but I think it, I don't know, I might be in a weird place right now, so who knows. But all that being said, I'm just trying to point out the idea that when we're talking, and I don't know, when I'm in that place, it may not come out like it's supposed to. And in my brain, that's not what I'm trying to do. I feel like I'm trying to just give information that says, hey, this is what we should be doing. This is what you should do this, I should do this, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like I'm being very neutral and unbiased. But I think that I noticed that I went down the list of all the things that I felt like were wrong, as opposed to talking about all the things that could be right. And I think those are the same thing to me, but they're not the same thing. So I think that in my brain when I'm talking, I feel like I'm thinking about all the things it could be, and then I start speaking all the things that it's not, in an effort to think that if I keep talking about all the things that it could be, it's not, that it'll be that one day. And it comes off like darts. Even though in my mind, I'm trying to create this reality in the future of what the possibilities of what it could be. So I don't really know. That's just one of the things that I feel like I do see in relationships, and and how that's a cycle for me, and I need to do a better ordeal, because I touched on this in another video, and I might make another video on this too, but just the idea of how I feel like being in relationships with people, and not just one-on-one but corporately, I've realized that I will partner with people in the idea of thinking that we're all in the same page. I will partner with people thinking that, in my mind, we're playing the same game. And that's the thing about, the real truth about it is that at the end of the day, if corporately, if I don't like a job, or if I feel like, I don't really want to be at a specific place that I'm at, because over time, I feel like there are things that I see that I don't really care for, then I can leave, Relationships are a little bit different than that. It's long term, so now there's emotions attached and there's all this other stuff or whatever. Then now it's a little bit more difficult to kind of say, hey, this is what is best, and we should go our separate ways. Now, I don't know, again, maybe you guys don't really deal with that, but I feel like, man, I'm really trying. But then I'm also probably angry with myself and angry with the other person. But I shouldn't. I don't know. There's another video in that. I think the idea is that, in a relationship, it's best to be a little bit more of like understanding what you need and giving the relationship time before you decide to get into a relationship with a person and people. And this is, again, a life lesson for me that I'm learning to do and apply to my own life corporally and individually. Where we be a little bit more mindful of, like, what do you believe? What do you think about this? And the intricacies, leaving room for the intricacies of that idea that, people don't really think about as deeply, things that we think about as INFJs. And I'm not going to say that this is always gone, because this channel, I'm not trying to focus on the idea that only INFJs do. I think that a lot of people may be introspective. So, if you're not an INFJ, don't get offended by it. Seriously, it may be, whatever. But I feel like for me, as an NI dominant, trying to output an experience or something, this thing in the SE, whatever, I think that a lot of times, because I feel like using my extroverted feeling, I feel like I'm trying to connect to good people, people who are nice and happy, and then I meet happy people, and then I think that because they're happy people that we're trying to get to the same experience, and that is a big misconception. If there are any young INFJs out there who are looking for guidance, that is probably one of the biggest things that I could tell you, especially if you're a 9 and you're INFJ, really take the time to understand that that doesn't mean that people are bad. That doesn't mean that people aren't good people, but different people have different destinations. And if we are trying, sometimes we can partner with different people, thinking that we're trying to get to the same place, and we're not trying to get to the same place. And then I think that that's one of the biggest things that I've dealt with in my relationships. But all that being said, I mean, I don't really want to go too far into it. Let me know if you guys are, what your thoughts on that is, and just whether or not that's an INFJ, ish, whether that's just me, or if that's something that you guys deal with on the as well. I don't know if that's if it's an INFJ thing, or if it's a 9 thing, or if it's a both thing, or whether or not if you're not an INFJ and you feel like this is something that you relate to. I'd like to get an understanding on that. And yeah, I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you like what we're talking about here, please support the channel, and by hitting the like button and hitting the subscribe button. And yeah, see you guys on the side. Deuces.